that little kid saying, "No, I don't want that piece of cake," but the eyeball is still looking at that piece of cake. Yeah, I want that piece of cake. I want people to feel sorry for me.
That's like the last beer. I don't want it.
Look,
But you're
let's
drinking it.
Right.
look. So this is the spot, right? Because at the end of the show, Dominic Mysterio walked away, and I kind of like try to understand his point of view because there are times where he didn't want Liv Morgan in the picture, right? He was always trying. His goal was always trying to not have Liv Morgan win the title because what she had done to Rhea Ripley, but Liv Morgan knew how to get around it and be manipulative. And I'm saying this because she gained the trust with everybody else, right? Gained the trust with Finn Balor and JD McDonough, right? To get a world title match, tag team match. They won it. They got all these goodies and stuff, playing devices or whatever. So she's winning that backstage locker room. But yet there goes Dominic Mysterio, and I got a feeling he has a big heart to fall for her. But I don't think Liv Morgan really wants Dominic Mysterio.
No, she
All
don't.
about trying to get into the skin of Rhea Ripley. And
That's all it
remind
is.
you, they were both former tag teams.
Yeah.
And so now I could also go way back, a couple years back in 2019. Remember that storyline that we had Liv Morgan saying that she was with what's her name? Lana. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then, Rusev didn't want her to be with Bobby Lashley, and it was just all craziness. I just happened to be there in the front row, dodging the cake everywhere. Um, but then it's like, well, did Liv Morgan really was in love with Rhea Ripley to the fact when they split up, she started going crazy? I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
relationship goes in strange ways.
Oh yeah. I don't know. This is a very 50 Shades of Grey type of relationship going on over here with these two.
Yeah, it is. This also
Mm.
reminds me of this picture. I never had any sexual
Oh my
relationship.
god.
Okay, we could go back to the early '90s with President Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. I mean, I thought this picture was perfect. It really is.
Why does her teeth look yellow?
Really, we're gonna go there.
She,
We're
did,
gonna go there.
she didn't inhale either.
Oh man! But listen. So my ask you this is like, do you think Dominic Mysterio will improve with the relationship with Rhea Ripley?
No.
Frank?
No. Nope.
Okay. So
Mom,
this is go ahead.
mommy's coming to clean house.
Mm.
She's fixing to clean house and get things back in order. And if you're not part of that order, you're out. Plain and simple.
I think before she cleans house, she has to have an understanding.
What
Don't
understanding?
well look, she saw what was happening, like in our relationships. Don't you think like there's gotta be some words exchanged as to why this, why that?
Oh yeah, well we'll see that. Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like the motives of why things happen. Like uh the woman in a relationship try to understand why another person is behaving the way they are. You know, why is there a genuine interest? What is the obsession or whatever reason?
That
You
was
know,
fatal
knowing
attraction.
this can help address the issue more effectively. And the effectively will be, well, I'm gonna get you in the ring and I'm gonna whip your ass, right? And then everything's gonna be settled. However, Rhea Ripley's her return will be to try to get that world championship around her waist again. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not going to be an easy task. Frank, you agree or disagree?
I completely agree with that. It's not going to be an easy task for it because
Mm-hmm.
we've always seen it when somebody leaves, for whatever reason, whether they lost the title, whether they got injured, like in her case where she had to relinquish the title, it's a while before they get that title run back, before they're able to go for the titles. And I don't think that it's gonna work right now. I think the way they have it set up right now, where Liv Morgan is no longer chasing Ripley. Now it's Ripley chasing Morgan. I think that's probably the best way to have it right now.
Liv caused too much chaos right now for even for mommy to even think about trying to get that title back. She's got to fix the house first before she even try to get that title back. But she did strike. She struck hard. She
struck hard by making her appearance.
Yeah, well, and she kind of hurt her. You know, she put that physicality on her a little bit, so she made her presence known. So, yeah.
But I'm going to go back to the word consequences here, because you say that she has to fix her own home and stuff like that. I don't think it's fixing the home. It's like getting rid of stuff, right? And I don't think that the tag teams will be together. I have a feeling that Finn Balor and JD McDonough will somehow coexist, if that's the word to describe. But then again, it's a trio. That those two would end up being with Liv Morgan.
It's pointing that way. Because notice how many times Damian Priest has told Balor, hey, why is she here? Hey, why is this? He had the key card to her room.
He took the key card away. That's right.
So,
and then with Dominic Mysterio's Dum Dum, I mean, we could go back to Dum Dum because he was called out before. He's playing the Dum Dum, and I think he's taking advantage of the situation. The consequences is that, man,
I wouldn't mind being taken advantage in that situation, I say.
But he's gonna find himself without Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan.
Well, then he should have kept. Then he should shave his stash.
That's that immaturity right there. You know, he didn't know what he had, and he's not gonna know what he have until he loses it.
Oh, right. We all know how that happens.
But then like the storyline is not going to change to the fact that we're going to revisit again Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio.
Well,
once he loses everything, he's going to understand the value of family. Those are the consequences.
Yeah, I thought about that after the fact. I was like, is there a small light at the end of the tunnel that he come crawling back to his dad like the prodigal son in the Bible? You know, he knew he messed up. He messed everything up. And now he's crawling back. And will her dad take him back? You know, with sincerity. Because
a parent will always take back their child.
Say again?
A parent will always take back their child.
In some circumstances. Most of the time, yes. I can't say that will happen all the time. Because I have seen family member where, you know, like if their child is always incarcerated and he comes out, he's back in, he's doing the same stuff, that they'd be like, well, I don't want you in our lives anymore. All right. There's enough damage going on in the household, whether they stole from them or whatever case may be. And then all of a sudden, boom, they leave. And they never see each other. And until when it's too late, and they're probably the one of the parents have passed away, then they come around. You know, it's like I see what you're saying, but in this scenario, I do feel like Dominic Mysterio is gonna be one hell of a apologetic type of dude, right?
He's gonna have to earn that trust back, and it's gonna be tenfold. It's gonna be very hard to get that trust back, but
absolutely,
he's gonna have a lot of work to do to get it back. I mean, Jey Uso had to do it, right? When he broke off with the bloodline and moved over to Raw, he had to face, you know, the consequences of his actions when he was with the bloodline.
I still feel like he's still suffering the consequences because he can't win a title. He can't win a main event match without someone doing something, you know, and minus the Money in the Bank briefcase and stuff like that. I mean, shit happened. You know what I mean?
I'm going to look at it. You're right. I see that in a different sense, in a spiritual sense. Okay, I'm not going to get too deep into this because we got things we got to move on to. But you know, when you hit a lot of roadblocks in life, it's probably because it wasn't meant for you, but the bigger picture is down the road, and you don't see the bigger picture because you're focusing on what's in front of you instead of what's ahead of you. You see, and so he's thinking that it's going to be, you know, glorious to have a singles title, which he does deserve it. Don't get me wrong, Okay, but that's not the bigger picture looking forward for Jey Uso. We have to kind of somewhat as fans look at what's going on SmackDown. Okay,
Yep.
so that may be the reason why they have yet to do what I feel that we all think he feels is become a singles champion, because there's something bigger in his future that's going to bring him more glory than it would be right now as a singles champion.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that because we were leading in to that topic right there, and it's no other than the newest version of the Bloodline. I feel like this is like part 2, like similar to the NWO, where you had the initial group. Now we got part 2 of it, but instead of all the chaos there, we have a family business going through here. And Solo Sikoa is demanding to be named as the tribal chief. Do you guys agree with this move?
No. This is the inmates running the asylum, pretty much. There's no order. There's no order. It's just nothing but straight chaos. But
and I don't think. And listen, they say they love each other and everything else right now because they're getting there. Initially, that they gotta go, but after a while, if I don't see any championship belts around any of those waists, they could turn each other. You know what I mean? Like they could go against each other.
There's a lot of big egos there.
And that's probably something that Paul Heyman was trying to discuss with Solo, and the reason why Roman Reigns originally did not want them aboard in the Bloodline.
Yeah. Unless they all are on the same accord to understand that it's not about titles, but just straight destruction. If that's what their main goal is, then they're going to be successful until we see the return of the original Bloodline, if that's what they even call it.
Look, man, there's only one tribal chief in the family.
No, you're right, and I'm not going to I'm not going to discredit that. But Solo got me thinking. He said that we're not going to see Roman Reigns again. What if he's talking about the ring name Roman Reigns, but we see him come back as somebody else?
I don't understand. Why would you come back as somebody else?
I don't know. But because we know he's coming back eventually. But why would Solo?
You think he's gonna change his name, Roman Reigns, to his original name, family name?
I don't know. If it's to show the hierarchy of him being the real, tribal chief over Solo and these goons right here, I'm just entertaining the thought.
No, that's a huge entertainment. That's a huge entertainment. I mean, thinking that Roman Reigns, with the name that he's developed in WWE, being the tribal chief, being the head guy, because that's who he really was, or that's who he still is.
I get it. Yeah,
okay,
right.
Come back as Joseph Fatu.
Not so much that, but
just doesn't make sense. I mean, look, they change. You change your names when your character sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
When your character sucks, they change your name. When you really look at it, and we could use Cody Rhodes as prime freaking example. Cody Rhodes went from dashing Cody Rhodes to Stardust, and now he's back to Cody Rhodes. Where he went out, he made a name for himself as Cody Rhodes, even though he still had a name, because the Rhodes legacy is there. But he's Cody Rhodes. I take going saying, all right, buddy, we're gonna change your name back to Stardust.
No,
I mean, but we've seen bigger things like Bray Wyatt being Bray Wyatt, and then the Fiend came out of it, and that was something that was even bigger.
But that was a character that he was already working on, and you saw.
I get it. But I just feel like I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying for him to say that we're not going to see Roman Reigns.
With everyone talking and everyone chanting, we want Roman Reigns, I just don't see if the name will change. I mean, it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it could be a possibility, or it could be something higher. Maybe like The Rock is now the boss. Maybe it's Roman Reigns, but is it another title that Roman Reigns will come out?
Because the
I
Samoan,
can see that.
because this Samoan, family, they have that hierarchy. They have names, I guess. I don't know. We'll have to dig deep into their
Right. And
legacy
is there
to figure that
anything
out.
higher than the tribal chief?
Well, no, I don't think so. But I'm talking about
Well, you
maybe like
have the
a name.
boss. You have the boss, The Rock.
Oh, the
Right?
final boss, yeah.
Is it the final boss or the boss?
He calls himself the final boss. I
Oh,
guess he's like some kind of video game.
I mean,
The final boss.
The
Yeah.
final boss. I'm like,
Mm.
okay. He said it with emphasis.
But emphasis, yes.
Yeah,
I like that word.
He's like, I'm the
Mm.
final boss. I'm
Mm.
like, okay, Vince McMahon, relax.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on. But a quick short break with our website and our commercial tag here. So check it out. You're listening to the Hard Hittin Wrestling Show, the HHWShow podcast presented by Clovercrest Media. Visit our website, hhwshow.com, for the latest blog, a podcast, and anything related to the wrestling entertainment. And did you know? This is a Twitter account from #AsMe, hashtag thank you Cena. And it says here, never forget. Gunther never defeated Randy Orton. Seth Rollins pinned Damian Priest. And so with those two matches still open right now, I just keeping in mind that those two matches are not over. And that is a continuation, and it could be whenever. But I'm just saying that we could see something special going on there. I do see something like, go ahead.
This is not the first time we've seen this happen in the WWE.
Of course.
I mean, it's always going to live in history that when Andre finally won his first title, he pinned Hogan, and it was a 2 count. Hogan broke out of that 3 count, and referee still gave it the three count, and he won his first ever and only title. So it's like, things like that, we're not going to ever see the end of it.
Right.
So,
and eventually we didn't, but it is what it is. But we will see the last of this, and it's no other than John Cena. The last time is now. Made an announcement in Money in the Bank that he will finish out the remaining season of WWE. But there's a catch to that. And the catch is this. John Cena did not say that he officially retires in the ring. So these are some words that really didn't describe as him fully retiring. Okay. He said that he will have Royal Rumble. He will have the Elimination Chamber, but his last match, or how you say it, he said it'll be the last that he will wrestle at WrestleMania. So these are key words that if you want to look in a dictionary or go to English class, technically he could still be around. You know what I mean? But for everyone's eyes, he will be officially retired. His last match will be WrestleMania in Las Vegas.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He did say that he's going to retire from in the ring.
That didn't say that he was going to step away from the WWE business.
No. He said that he's retiring from being in the ring.
And I think he should. I think he is due. And I think that the more to this will be he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Let's not wait no more. I think this is the year. If he's officially retired from the ring, give him that at WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame.
he deserves it.
Definitely deserves it.
I mean, I don't like him, but he does deserve it.
You don't like him,
You don't like many people.
But you did not grow up seeing John Cena like we grew up watching wrestling, right? And it's something that my son said during our after our reaction or post reaction of Money in the Bank was that he got choked up, he got emotional because when he started watching wrestling, it was the time that John Cena started his career. Okay. The ruthless aggression, the PG era, right? And moving on to where it's funny how I got him started with wrestling, but then he comes visit me for my birthday, and we're watching as a family Money in the Bank, and he pops up out of nowhere announcing his retirement. So it's like everything that he always said every time he preached about never quitting and stuff like that. He always took that personal, and he always carried on to everything that he had done is I will never quit. You know, and it's just like hearing that from my son is like me hearing Hulk Hogan saying, "Eat your vitamins, eat this, do this." You know what I mean? So, right, exactly. So he has touched so many lives. My son still has a picture signed by John Cena. It was personally a personal message, which I thought was fake until I read it. And he goes, "Sammy, best of luck, whatever, blah blah." John Cena, and that is deep for a character like him to personalize every single thing that he had done. That's it's just worth a lot, man. And I would definitely hate to see him go out of WWE to retire, but you know, every job you start something, you got to finish it, right? And you move on to it. And he's already said because you know, as an actor and everything else, he got a lot of things going for him. But a lot of people are making an assumption that he may be having a last match with no other than Randy Orton. Do you guys agree that that should be it right there?
I think that will be best because I mean, outside the ring, these two I believe are best friends, and in the ring, they've had so many great matches. I mean, John Cena have had a lot of great matches with people like CM Punk and blah blah blah. But when you talk about that in ring back and forth, I mean, these two grew up together in the business.
OVM.
OVM, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're talking about Randy Orton, who's probably on the brink of retirement himself. Okay, but he's still hanging on by a thread. That would be great. One last match between them two, and let John Cena winning it. I mean, I have no problem with that, even though I don't like the guy.
Ah, there you go. I understand. I understand, Hector. I do. I mean, we could go back to debates where we have our fantasy tournaments. I got you. Frank, do you think the right opponent be Randy Orton, or do you think somebody else should be the opponent?
Look at the history, right?
He has plenty of history.
When you look at a job that you've done for many years, or a show that you've done for so many years, and there's always been an individual by your side that's put you up there also. All right, and Randy Orton and him have gone to battle. They've had great matches. They've had good rivalries. Why not end the career with that person that helped you reach the top?
I could name a list of histories, man. Could we bring back Brock Lesnar and avoid what we watched that one time on SummerSlam with John Cena with Suplex City?
No.
Or could we get CM Punk versus John Cena because of how everything fell into place? Remember, they were both champions. CM Punk took the title when he won and ran away with it. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, there was lovely history there. We can't get Shawn Michaels. We can't get Triple H in the ring. We don't want that disaster.
No.
Yeah,
but like, what about someone fresh in the WWE that needs that push to go over? I mean, Austin Theory got it already, right? Solo Sikoa got it already.
But you don't want to give somebody a push over John Cena, especially at a WrestleMania.
Especially his last match. I mean, granted, most of these wrestlers, when they retire their last match, they lose.
So what about this? He did say he will be at the Royal Rumble. Didn't say he was going to be a participant of the Royal Rumble, but he said he's going to wrestle at the Royal Rumble. Let's assume that he does go to the Royal Rumble. Do you think it'd be odd favorites to win the Royal Rumble?
Maybe. I think he would be. Why not have his last match as a freaking for a title match, and he wins it and he retires on top?
Or he loses and walks away. Could we
Doesn't
have
matter.
him
Win or
versus
lose.
Roman Reigns?
Win or lose, he walks away, and then you
Gunther?
have a tournament for the title.
Could Gunther have a title? And I mean, he's going to be on Monday Night Raw. He already made an announcement that once WWE goes to Netflix, he's going to be on Netflix.
You know,
go ahead.
I think that's pretty difficult. I mean, you why did he? You know, my thing is, why did he mention those 3 events? You see, it's almost as if he's telling us that if he doesn't get the Royal Rumble, he's going to get the Elimination Chamber, and either way, he's going to get a title shot at WrestleMania.
Oh no, he's going to wrestle there. That's what he said, and he's always famous for the Elimination Chamber, right? He's won titles there, and he lost titles there. What else?
I mean, seriously, I just cannot see him, and I'm not saying this because I don't like him. I just cannot see him becoming champion at WrestleMania. Only if you're going to put that title around Gunther by SummerSlam, he's not losing that title at WrestleMania to a John Cena. That is your future right there. You're not going to make him just drop it just like that. Cody, to me, is already set on SmackDown. You're not going to put him in a match against Cody Rhodes. That to me don't make no sense whatsoever. I mean, it's going to have to be some kind of match with someone that's worthy of it without no title involved.
I gotta say CM Punk, man. With Randy Orton being on SmackDown, the only opponent I see, unless he fights Seth Rollins again, I mean, they have history together.
Yes, they got a small amount of history, not as much as him and Punk does.
No, or you're right, but still, I mean,
then you
who's the face? Who is? It's just like saying The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, right?
Could it be different because you're doing a transfer of power. Here you're not transferring power. Here you might be.
This is an awesome way of an example of John Cena saying, look, I'm going to do this farewell my way. I want to go out with one last match. And he probably already has identified the person he's going to have his last match with.
Okay, so if you're going to do the CM Punk, then Drew McIntyre cannot be part of it. This got to be a clean one-on-one match. No outside interference.
Yeah.
Because that will ruin his whole tour, his retirement tour. That will ruin it all. Cena don't deserve that. So
damn, but this dude is still stocky. He's still got it, man. Like, I don't know. I would love to see him be the 17-time world champion. That's just my opinion, just because I don't want Ric Flair to be on the news. All right. But then again, Triple H running the show, and I don't think that's gonna happen. Well, you
never know. I mean, what if they do get Ric Flair's blessings?
Yeah, I thought Ric Flair gave the blessing to Randy Orton to give him that opportunity. But let's just say that John Cena does become a world champion, breaks the record, whatever, and then I will say, well, he needs to go ahead and wrestle Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton wins the title.
Oh, well, then he'll be stuck at what, 15?
Yeah, I guess. But hey, more discussions on this. More discussion on this. Go ahead. Yeah.
At least he'll pass Triple H if that happens.
True that. But we're talking about titles and stuff, but now we're going to lead into our takeaway, and it's no other than the Intercontinental Championship. Now, we've seen this match where Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, and it's almost like Braun Breaker just went ahead and skipped the line and went ahead and slapped the shit out of Sami Zayn and be like, I want a title match. And it did happen. Sami Zayn's won him. And I guess we're going to have another match, but there's Sami Zayn winning. And this is Braun Breaker, the newest star in the WWE main roster on Monday Night Raw. Okay. And there's plenty of lessons to learn from this. Okay. Consequences. And again, that is the word for the day. We've heard about consequences from the mouth of Seth Rollins and CM Punk promo. We heard it from Damian Priest when Rhea Ripley showed up at the end of Monday Night Raw to address the issue, to make her point that she is back. But the consequences for Braun Breaker is that he thinks that he is owed everything. That because he is the son of a Hall of Famer, that he's a big badass, that he'd go anywhere, and because somebody told him, no, you can't be in this tournament, he could do whatever the hell he wants and try to get it his way. And once he got it to where he got an Intercontinental Championship, he came out with a loss. Now, how many folks do we know about people that think that they're owed so many things and they don't get it? And then when they don't get it, they start pouting. They start to say and make excuses. Oh, you're a racist, or no, you're being unfair, or you let this person. They start doing the blaming. But what happens to where you're in a situation like Braun Breaker? What can we learn from this?
Frank?
To accept defeat, to accept that you're not the badass you think you are, to accept that you got to go back to the line and start all over again. You got to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, well, this is what I've done until now. These are my consequences. What am I learning from this? Where do I go? Do I start all over again? Or I try to continue being that asshole and still continue getting the same response? Comes a point where you have to go ahead and start all over again, and you change the ways that you're doing things. All right, and you're better. You be better.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you saying. I mean, he's just not one to take losing lightly, but oh well, that's part of the business, and he has to accept that.
Absolutely.
I mean, he noticed, he realized that when he was in NXT, so the big leagues is not going to get any bigger. He's going to let his anger take control of his actions and get himself in trouble. I mean, look at Drew McIntyre. His actions had consequences. His anger took control of the situation, and so
Right.
Braun Breaker's doing the same thing, but until somebody decides to put him in his place, we got a little mini Brock Lesnar running around over here.
Will Braun Strowman put him in his place? Well, Sami Zayn already put him in his place. He won. He won the battle. But we're gonna have a part 2 on that because he went ahead and went after him, and then what's his name? Dragunov tried to step up to the plate. He took off. All right. But the lesson learned here is that when a person believes that they are better than everyone else or expect things to be given rather than earned, several negative consequences can arise. Like their lack of growth, personal consequences, lack of growth, a mindset that can stunt personal and professional growth. If someone believes that they're inherently superior, they may not see the need to improve or develop new skills. We've already seen that the same skills he does every night. He runs, he charges, spears, and boom. Sometimes he get caught up, sometimes he don't. This dude is talented, but he's not growing because he's a fixed-minded person. Okay? He's expecting things to be given without effort, and that can lead to a sense of entitlement, where individual feels that they deserve special treatment, privileges without having to work very hard. And as you know, the general manager was like, no, you're not going to be involved in this tournament, but yet he got a reaction out of that. Okay. The social consequences is like having like strange relationships, arrogance, and in time that can be strained relationships with friends, families, and colleagues. And in this case, right, he's burning bridges to the point where as soon as he's get done with this Intercontinental Championship, and more likely he may not become champion, that he's going to really go back to the end of the line, or maybe he'd be moved somewhere else, maybe go to SmackDown, or maybe heading back to NXT. I don't know. But things are not looking good for Braun Breaker until there's a superstar that's going to grab him and take him under their wing and be like, look, this is what right looks like. Or maybe his father would show up or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's just so much that Braun Breaker needs. Okay. And again, with that attitude and everything else, he's going to have a lot of missed opportunities because that attitude that he has, right? People who believe they don't need to earn things may not take initiative, seek new challenges, or seize the opportunity for growth and improvement. And bottom line is, he is lined up to fail. Now, what type of person do you want to be, or what type of person do you want to preach to when you're raising your kids, or with your peers and stuff like that? How would you help them develop when they have attitudes like this? It's a hard sell because some people are open-minded to listen, even though it might take several mistakes to realize what they're doing. But some are just arrogant, and you'd be like, what is wrong with you? You will never succeed. You will never improve. And you're just going to get stuck while everybody else is going to pass you and advance. And that right there is the takeaway on Braun Breaker and those that think that they're entitled to everything instead of earning what's right.
I agree. I mean, you have look. He got a taste of a loss in a championship match on the main roster. You have to take responsibility and own up to that. And he's not doing that. It's easy to dodge our responsibilities, right? But we cannot dodge the consequences of dodging our responsibilities. You see, so he's not going to be able to get away with that. He can't dodge his responsibilities. He's gonna have to own up to it eventually. And management has to put their foot down. They can't just give in and cater to the man. I'm sorry. No. You can't be privileged like that. I don't care who you are, who you're related to, and what your name is. It doesn't matter. Everybody has to earn their stripes around here. Would he be a good champion? He would be. I think he would be. But you got to go about it the right way in life. You lose, you go back to the line and do your homework. Start figuring out what you did wrong. That's what's going to make you better. You got to be able to humble yourself. If you can't learn how to do that, then I'm sorry, you're going to be a lost puppy in the pound.
Absolutely. Frank, any last words?
Hector said it best, man. You do know, man. You hit the nail on the head. All right. It's you have to be better. You have to be humble. Okay. All right. And that's just the part of life where you learn it at some point in life.
Big shout out to Hector, man. He did win the Money in the Bank, which was announced on the Post Reaction Show. Yeah. He went undefeated that night. Yeah.
He's 0-5.
Frank finished in last, so it's okay, Frank. You fell real hard.
Are you surprised?
I mean,
are you surprised?
You was on a 1-game winning streak, and then you didn't do nothing.
Actually, no. I think I won Mania, and then we tied on the other one.
Yeah, Mania was a technicality, but we gave it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah. Thank you for watching the Hard Hittin Wrestling Show. Visit our website, HHWShow.com. We'll be back next week for the road to SummerSlam. Thank you, everyone. You gotta love some wrestling, baby. You gotta love it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.